Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Diane's been working with buyers and sellers in the Missoula market for over 25 years. Along with her trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction and brings us guests who provide useful information on industry-related topics and trends. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk, KGVO. So good to have you with us. Hope you are enjoying the holiday season, and we hope you will enjoy Missoula Real Estate Today, too. We're talking with Billy Fisher. Billy is the owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling. Billy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
First timer here. I like that. The get acquainted part, Billy. Your background and how you got into this line of work, how Grizzly Disposal came to be and all of that.
Yeah. So background's all in Missoula here.
Oh, good.
Went to the University of Montana. Got done there 2000-ish. We're not going to give the exact date, age myself. I worked for L.S. Jensen for 13 years here in town. Got to know the city pretty well. Logistics. Ended up running that operation at that time. We were bought out by a competitor, and I had the opportunity to move at that time. And then 4.5 years later, as I went to Republic Services for 4.5 years.
Okay.
Was the operations manager there for Western Montana. Had a good tenure, good time there. Decided to move on to other things. And then about 1.5 years later after that, this opportunity came in front of me, and it was just it was too good of an opportunity to let go. So
right.
That's got us to where we're at now.
It's Grizzly Disposal and Recycling. Did the recycling come before the disposal, or how did that all fall into place?
To get the routing in the city, Lance, my partner, started up the recycling company about almost 2 years ago to start doing cardboard recycling in this town. It provided a great opportunity to start the business, get people in here, get the trucks, start getting the routes down. So, we've been offering cardboard recycling for almost 2 years now.
And you specified cardboard recycling. Are there a lot of different components to that business?
Cardboard recycling is pretty simple, right? But it's the biggest portion of recycling, the biggest size and amount that's in your container. Obviously, there's different types of recycling. You have single stream, you have cardboard, you have source separated. We're only able to offer cardboard recycling right now just because we need a facility to bale and house our recycling, and we don't have that. We actually take our cardboard to another local baler here, so we're able to do that right now. We're excited and looking forward to doing other recycling in the future, but right now that's what we have to offer.
It's a little more involved than most consumers think, I would imagine. It's most people probably think, hey, recycling's recycling, right?
Right. It's people. It's I don't know. It's a tough one. Everybody feels good and wants to do it and put it out there. Single stream is the easiest way to recycle. Source separated, I think, is the way to go. We've been partnering right now in town with Recycle Works and trying to get customers to them while we're in this transition period. They have a pretty good product they're offering, so we want to support it and be a part of it as much as we can. Obviously, we're limited with what we can provide right now.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. And my guest this week, Billy Fisher. Billy's the owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling. Let's get to the disposal. Billy, what are your current coverage areas right now?
All of Missoula County.
Very good.
The permit allows us to haul at all points in between Missoula County, so here we are.
Is that something you'd like to expand in the future, or would that mean getting involved with other county authorities, or what?
Yeah, it's a permit basis, so you'd have to apply to be able to haul. I think expansion's on everybody's agenda. It's not high on mine right now. We need to come in here and secure our spot and work on the customers and work on Missoula right now. So, yeah, I'm sure it's on everybody's mind. It's on mine, but it's not in the near future at all.
Yeah. Have you had inquiries yet from other counties saying, hey, new disposal people, when are you coming over here?
Yeah, so the surrounding communities, Mineral, Lake, they reach out and ask if we're doing it. I don't, wholeheartedly if it's just, hey, are you in my area? But we've had calls, hey, can you service this house or this address? And unfortunately, this time we cannot.
Sure.
So you may see it in the future, but like I said, it's not in the near future.
Yeah. Well, give you guys a break, for gosh sakes. You're new. You're just you're kids, business speaking there.
Oh, we are definitely infants. Yeah.
You mentioned your former employers in a kind way. What indications did you have that Missoula and Western Montana could use another disposal service?
Simply on the size and the demographics of Missoula.
Sure.
To have a single hauler in the city the size of Missoula, you look at every other major city, if you can, in Missoula, in Montana, right? So you got Kalispell, Bozeman, Billings, all have multiple haulers. I think multiple haulers is great because it gives you different options and different ideas, and everybody's going to look at a problem differently, right? It seems pretty simple, garbage. We give you a container, you put your marbles in it, we haul your marbles somewhere else, and we take it. It's pretty easy, but every location has its unique animals that go along with it. I saw a real need in this community, and I really want to work with the city and architects and engineers to try to get bigger receptacles, easier use, where we can get to the garbage and start doing things less frequent, to really make this, obviously economical for the city and to reduce your carbon footprint. We really want to. I want to work and get larger receptacles and start servicing things less frequent here. It's really different in this town than any other town. Like L&L services Bozeman, and it's all 6s and 8s and larger containers, and we don't see that here. It's an old existing routing system, which is hard because you have to build new enclosures and you have to do these things that are painstaking. But hopefully in the future we can do this and create a better product.
What would be the reasoning for a container size restriction? Various container
size and planning. I mean, it's really convenient to have. They're nice receptacles, right? To have a 3-yard where you have limited use of your parking space, and you can move it and wheel it around. Once you get over a 3-yard, you really cannot move it around. So there's a lot of real world applications why it's that way. It really is. And if you don't plan for it and you don't think about it, that's what's going to happen. You're going to end up having this, and it takes space, and space is, not abundant around here.
Yeah. Was it difficult to get started? And I don't mean the financial point on this question. I'll get to that on the next question. But this one, difficult getting started. Were there any particular issues with the city, permits, stuff, and its trash disposal area that needed to be addressed? Was that a pretty thorough process?
Yeah, the permit application with the Public Service Commission is a very thorough process, and it's a lengthy process. So I didn't really get an opportunity to go through that. My partner did, and he achieved the permit, but that was a year-long process.
Wow.
Logistically, trying to think of where we were going to dispose of our trash was another thing, and the city has been great. The permitting there, the business permits, that kind of thing. That's been the easiest part of the process so far.
Wow. Didn't expect that answer. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate here on KGVO. And my guest is Billy Fisher. Billy's owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling here in Missoula. Now let's get to the equipment involved. That ain't cheap, Billy. What all did you have to have in place, to actually get out and at least get started offering services? Yeah,
with cardboard, it was kind of funny. We started with 4 vehicles, 2 on the the rear load pickup side, and then 2 on the roll off industrial side. So very, very small. And it was just a 2-man operation for a long time. May 1st, we hit the ground running, and we hit the ground running with eight vehicles.
Wow.
Which they purchased a long time ago. Like Lance had a great vision and plan and took the risk to go out there and secure the supply chain and purchase these things. So we started with 8. I mean, today we have 13 vehicles, 82 roll-off boxes that we were able to get. Like the containers, when you think about buying equipment and assets, everything's, well, you have to have trucks and you have to do this.
Sure. The
containers are the biggest part of the expense, really. When you look at your 3-yards and your 30s and your 40s, the carts, they come in bunches of. They're expensive in their own right, but people don't think about the actual apparatus. I know.
Gosh, no.
So the equipment side of things is twofold, or the asset side of things. So I don't know. I don't know if Lance has a magic wand or whatever, but I can't believe that in this supply chain type of era we're in, for us to be able to get 13 vehicles total, and all of them are 22s and 23s. And to be able to get these roll-off boxes is amazing. He has a lot of great connections with his suppliers. He's been doing business forever, and we're very, very fortunate that we have those connections to be able to, provide the level of service we want. We don't want to say no to anybody, and we want to grow at the pace we're growing.
You're being very modest about this, aren't you? Lance is all the brains, and you're the brawn.
I would say that we have the local knowledge, and he has the assets we need.
That is a diplomatic business partner right there, refusing to take hardly any credit at all. You love to hear from happy customers. What kind of feedback have you received so far about your disposal service? What do people seem to really like about you?
That's the awesomest part of our job. We get phone calls, and I'm not daily, about things that people did. I mean, not me again, right? The driver's out there. He did this. He did that. I forgot to put my trash out. He came and got it.
That's a good one.
I wanted my container. He got it there the same day. We're able, we're small enough and we have enough stuff. We're able to do same day service. We're able to get the containers out right away. It's awesome. Like you look at our Google reviews, right? We, the last 14 are all 5-star. I love looking at this. I look at this stuff, and obviously Town Square provides me the information.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's kind of awesome. But that's the best part of the job. Like to go out and to, wear my Grizzly Disposal hat and be prepared for the good conversation and not the bad conversation is the funnest thing ever. Like, I love it. Hey, you work for Grizzly Disposal? Yes, I do. I don't ever get into the ownership or what I do, but yes, I work for them, and I love to hear what they have to say.
Well, and when you get the other, obviously public relations and customer service, and I can just tell, just met you today, but I can just tell by the way you approach that is if there is something negative, if a customer has a problem, it's something that Grizzly Disposal, you guys are going to make an effort to get a happy customer if you don't have one.
The funny thing is you will actually create a more loyal customer dealing with a bad situation than you will with a customer that you treat right every day. It's the weirdest thing. If you can take an error, everybody makes errors. Everybody makes faults. Go fix it.
Yeah, make it right.
Address it. Make it right. There's some. We're limited to what we can do, but if you're just honest and open and say, hey, I always like to say yes first and then work our way back. So, hey, can we do this? Sure. And then we go out there and we find, okay, well, we can't do this. Okay, what can we do? How can we do it? Let's see. Let's work the problem. If you address it and you're transparent and you're honest with the customer, those are probably the longest relationships you'll have.
Yes.
Like, man, remember that time when I was mad at you and you fixed this thing? I'm like, yes, I do. So, unfortunately and fortunately, I get a deal with those in my position. So,
absolutely,
those phone calls, although they're hard sometimes in this, and we're new and we've been pretty good so far, so I haven't had too many of them. But I take the opportunity to win a customer and do the right thing.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. We come your way every weekend, by the way, 8 a.m. on Saturdays and replayed at 10:30 a.m. on Sundays. And also want to say thanks to some of Diane's marketing partners that help bring you the program. They include Miles Link at Opportunity Bank of Montana, along with Rob Fleming at Man Mortgage and Carol Blodgett with MakeItMissoula.com. Back to Billy Fisher, the owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling. I was snooping around, Billy, on your website, and this sort of caught my eye. What made you decide to include demolition service? When I think demolition service, I think of a bunch of people with wrecking balls and dynamite, but demolition services to the menu, it sounds like it would require even more specialized equipment. What are you capable of taking down, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Pretty much everything. And
really?
That's the fun part of the business. So I started helping out with that in Bozeman when I first started doing it with Lance. I had previous experience through Jensen in my former life of running equipment, and that's super, super fun. Now, it's a tough job and the cleanup and everything like that, and you have to know what you're doing, but I enjoy getting those demolition jobs. And specialized equipment, we have 3 excavators, skid steer, lowboy, Moffats, forklifts. We have everything you can do to get the job done. We're actually bidding a few projects. I still currently do them myself. So we've done, a lot this year already. I would say
I was going to ask if you had been called upon to do much so far.
Yeah, I want to say easily I've had 10 different structures, some of really good size, some small. It doesn't really matter to us. We'll go out there and do it. So, it's kind of neat. And, again, my partner has expertise in this. And I went over there and I was doing some demolition on Montana State University. Kind of fun for me to knock some of that stuff down, being a Grizz. But I realized that there's really not a project that's too big that you could handle. And I actually enjoy it. And for us, it's a unique animal because we can do the whole thing. Because we can do the demolition. Then we can haul it off,
right,
and we can dispose of it. So it's nice to have it all in one house.
And that's what you mean by roll-off services, right?
Yeah, the 30s, the 40s. We obviously provide that service to all contractors here in town, but for us to have our own ability to do it, we have boxes on site. We can smash in our boxes, we haul it off. So logistically and timing-wise, I can call my guys and it flows really well in the demolition side. And like I said, I still do it today. I'll be in the office and be working, and we got a demo job, and I'm like, hey, I'm out for 3 days. I'm going to go run equipment. I'm going to go hand pick garbage. I'm going to do whatever. I enjoy getting out and doing the physical stuff sometimes still too, and it's enjoyable. And we're definitely going to keep that as part of our business. It's not going to go away from us, that's for sure.
You have to get your eyeballs on it first, right? I mean, a customer may call you and say, I have a demolition project that has to involve you getting on site so you can give that customer an accurate, estimate of what the investment's going to be like to get it done, huh?
Yep, it happens all the time. Just did one yesterday for a burnt trailer. You go down there, you look at the size and the scope and what you got to do and how the hours. This is a simple estimate, but I definitely have to look at everyone first because all of them are unique. Like, it's just funny. You're like, hey, I got this building. I want to tear it down. Like, okay, somebody could tell you it's 20 by 20. That's fine. If it's empty, it's one thing. If it's full, it's another thing. Yeah. So you really got to go look at it and inspect it. And like I said, I enjoy doing it.
How long? Well, of course, it's going to depend on the size, but just in your mind, formulate like an average size job that you get called to do. And about how long does something like that take?
Well,
do the winter months restrict you?
It doesn't restrict us. I mean, I get that question all the time. Like, I just did a job 2 weeks ago on Schmidt Road. I went out to Bonita Ranger Station 4 weeks ago and did a 7-day job. So
Gosh.
It just whatever. It's hard to tell you, like, hey, a 24 by 24 house takes 3 days. It's not. It depends if you take the concrete out. It depends on what you have. It depends if you have disconnects with the sewer. I mean, like, I can't really tell you, but it's 1 to 7 days, and that Bozeman project we did was probably 100. So you got to look at the size and scope of the project.
Yeah. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate on News Talk KGVO. I'm with Billy Fisher, the owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling, and let's get to those residential and commercial customers. But how do you set your rates for residential and commercial with an emphasis? Of course, you try hard to keep the cost down as much as you can, huh?
Yeah, so we set ours in. We have grid pricing here in town, and the biggest thing we wanted to do is be able to provide a product to the Missoula market at a reasonable rate. Sure. We're a little bit under the competition, but how I set my prices are basically distance from the office we have, and then I take the hauling component into consideration where we got to take it. The biggest thing for me is when we set these areas and these pricing is that you're paying the same for your service as your next door neighbor. I want to be consistent. We offer the same fee rate, the fee structure, along certain maps, right? So being consistent, offering a product at obviously I got a profit. And so for us, we're on this growth model, and it's weird in this business that to be successful and to turn a profit, you do have to have a customer base of some size. Our projected actually profit area is about 4,000 customers, if you can believe it. We're almost there. We're at 3,900 customers when I left the office today. We're really close. Like, and I keep telling my guys, like, we're going to make money this month. We're getting close. But you really need to it's a big business and such a there's a lot of moving parts. So obviously it takes to support the community, but that's kind of where we come to the rates is we have to be able to sustain business, make a profit, and I really want to provide an affordable product to Missoula County.
Well, this is pretty cool. Besides the opportunity to have like the sexiest trash receptacle on your block, you got a partnership with Chicks and Chaps. Great organization. They're dedicated. For those who don't know, they are dedicated to raising money for local individuals impacted by breast cancer diagnosis and treatment. So the pink container, how does that work? And how did how did you get involved with that?
This is the stuff. This is why you do what we do. Like, we're gonna start a business and you're gonna do these things and you're trying to profit, but you do it so you can do these kind of things. Like, this is super awesome. Like, I love this. They kind of came to us with the idea, and I was all over it from the minute one. So they said, let's do this thing. Let's get these carts. And I'm like, all right, it takes a while, right? So May 1st, we go there, and I went, I made the initial purchase, and I go and I buy these 750 pink carts. And the ladies at Chicks and Chaps, we sat down and created a program. It's great. We charge the customer an extra $10 a quarter, and that donation goes to Chicks and Chaps.
Only $10 a quarter.
Yep. And then we kick in the extra $5. So every container that's on the street, $5 a month go to Chicks and Chaps. Yeah. We are just giving them our first check actually tomorrow for $1,400.
Oh, congratulations.
That's so awesome. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Like, we're going to do more of this. Like, this isn't going to be our last time. What's awesome about being small and being little and being locally owned, I'm not held to any branding standards or any. I can go buy pink and orange and purple, whatever I want to do. Like, this was get behind. It's such a great organization to get behind. It's all spent locally here. The girls have a great message. It's been so fun working with them so far, and we want that thing to grow, and I want to continue expanding that program because that's something that can be sustainable for a long time, and that's kind of like legacy stuff when you leave that behind. So we're really in tune and really on board with that. That
is awesome. And as we mentioned, obviously they are pink. I'm sure they have the Grizzly Disposal logo on them. But is there something on there that helps the awareness of Chicks and Chaps on the?
Yeah, they got Chicks and Chaps logo on there too. We plastered all over the place we can. So it's kind of cool looking cart. We want to make sure that we're the we provide the service and we're giving but the main thing is just keep the premise that, we're supporting Chicks and Chaps. If you just keep them in mind, you keep that awareness in mind, we're just the vessel to go do it. So we're proud to be a part of that, and we're glad we can offer it. But if you keep your mind right, and it's just, Chicks and Chaps is where it's going towards, it'll all work out in the end.
I want to ask you about another cart too. Hear me see. I'm trying to speak Grizzly Disposal here. Say instead of container and receptacle. Now you got me saying cart.
Cart and container. Yep.
Cart and. That's what I hear. You gotta keep the bears out, right? And I imagine there are the inquiries into that are probably those are increasing.
Huge. And I think you're going to see a lot more prescriptive needs for those carts. Like, hey, this area has to have bear carts, and we see this, and
it's going to be required.
Yeah, I think that's the future. I mean, look at Whitefish is doing it. There's some areas here in town. We're very fortunate that we started here with about 800 bear carts. We still have an ample amount of them here. We have bear containers. It's a big problem in Missoula. It's a big problem in Sealy. We see it everywhere. We're trying to do whatever we can to help it out. Work with local organizations. It's not going away. They're getting deeper and deeper into the city and the community. So we're going to do everything we can to help and aid that effort.
What makes a bear-proof container a bear-proof container?
They need to be certified by regulatory agencies that they cannot get in them. So we buy from certain different. We don't build them ourselves.
Right.
We buy them from certain different vendors and then sell them in that aspect. So they got to be certified, and you just got to be able to not get into them. They got to be tested, rigorously tested. So yeah.
Is there a risk that they are also human-proof, or are they pretty easy to use?
They're pretty easy to use. It's a lock in the front. You fold the bar down, and then these ones, we have two different types. Some, you have two. Those are kind of bucketed open, to be honest with you. You have to have two hands, and you have the lid up, and then the new one is just the one. I like it. You just put the one finger in there and pull it up.
Okay.
So we're trying to go to that more often.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not too bad.
Is there a lot of added extra weight to them?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, the lid's heavy.
Okay.
So we try to put rubberized wheels in the bottom of ours whenever we can because it kind of balances out the weight. Because that lid, you flip it open, even if you're servicing it, and if you're a newbie, you flip that lid open and the cart goes with it. So you got to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. Our guest this week, Billy Fisher, owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling in Missoula. We all know about labor shortages, Billy. Don't want to spend too much time on that. And is it a challenge, though, to find qualified drivers, obviously, to keep Grizzly Disposal rolling?
I think you're always going to have a challenge when it comes to, qualified Class B and Class A drivers.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate that, like I said before, May 1st, we started with 3 employees. We have 17 when I left the office today. We're very lucky. We've hired a lot of good people, and that's what makes a good company is the employees. I mean, they touch the customer, they touch the containers every day. They're what makes the company run, and they're the heartbeat of the place. And I'm very, very fortunate to have the drivers and the people I do have working there. And we just hired 2 last month. We have another one starting the first of the year. We're getting lucky to get these things, but it's always going to be a challenge. We're always looking for more, qualified people to apply. I don't see any less than 5 employees needed for the next 6 months. That's the kind of growth model I see. So we're always looking for qualified drivers.
Well, besides recruitment, you're obviously very successful at that. I always like to ask my guests about success stories, something or more than one thing that's given you a lot of satisfaction with being the owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling.
Well, the funny thing is I've kind of touched on it twice, right? I think my biggest success story would be the responsiveness of the community. Every time I go around, and you always think it's going to be friends and buddies and who you know. It's not. This community has responded and supported us. And I seriously, when I think about the response we've got and the customers, I get giddy with it when I talk about it. I mean, it's so awesome to see people coming out and to support a local company. And then the second thing, the biggest success is the employees there. I mean, it's a family out there. Like, we had a safety meeting this morning at 5:00, and my office manager made breakfast. And we're sitting there and we're talking about safety and slips, trips, and falls. And there's all of us sitting there at a table. And I thought about this morning, I'm like, man, this is pretty neat. Like, this is, I don't know, man. It feels like home, and it feels like it should be. And it's all because of hiring the right people for the right jobs.
Well said. How easy is it to get started up, signed up, that is, and then when can you get started?
Getting signed up and getting started is easy. On our side, it's a 2-minute process. And we're a 1-day turnaround.
That's good.
Yeah. So getting started is super, super easy.
And hours and days of operation at Grizzly Disposal and Recycling?
Our phones are open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
All righty.
We only have 2 holidays, Christmas and New Year's, that we're off. And we run our routes from, 7 to whatever every day. So you can get a hold of us between those hours.
All right. My guest on Missoula Real Estate Today this week, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate, Billy Fisher, the owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling. I know I've cut a commercial or two for you. I believe it's you're the only bears that should be in people's garbage. Do I?
Yes.
Got that right?
Yes. And they added a little bear sound to it, so I kind of like it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a bear. Yeah. There's a bear growling on the end.
There is.
That's right. Contact information. How do we get a hold of you?
406-541-7171 or grizzlydisposal.com.
Billy Fisher, the owner of Grizzly Disposal and Recycling here in Missoula. Great job. Nice having you on.
I appreciate it, man. It was fun.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Email dianebeck@windermere.com, or for a complete directory of Diane's listings, visit move2missoula.com. That's move2, Missoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today.